Hey guys, it's Fatima and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do some color correction if you've got some dark areas or places that need a little bit of brightening up. So if you're new here, I'm a licensed cosmetologist in Orlando, Florida, and I'm here to teach you about all things beauty related while sharing my tips and tricks with you. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with my latest videos. Let's get started. But as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do some basic color correcting. Now there is a lot more that goes behind that, but in this video I just wanted to keep it very sweet and simple and very easy to follow for anyone that's never done this before or that has some dark areas that need brightening up and you don't really know where to start. And I know in last week's video I used my Fenty foundation, the Eaze Drop foundation that they just came out with, or the skin tint. So I'm going to be using that in today's video as well, and we're going to see how it's going to keep up with the Miami heat. It's not very hot outside since it is April. It's a bit it's really nice. It's like in the 70s, it's 75, and it was nice and breezy. So we're gonna see how it is tonight. So I'm gonna have it on, it's about 2 o'clock now. We're gonna go out around 6, so I'm gonna have it on from now until we go out and get home, which will probably be around like 10 or so. So that's gonna be a long few hours. So I'll be back at the end of this video as well, just to check in and, you know, update you guys on how it did. But let's get into what the actual video is going to be about. So basically color correcting. So I'm using this NYX Basic Color Correcting Palette. Now you can find this at any drugstore, I think, that sells NYX products. Ulta. I got mine from Target. It was under, I think, $10, and I had it shipped to my house, and I used my red card, so I saved some. But basically I wanted to get this because it's pretty accessible for anybody, and it comes with your basic color correcting shade, so it's nothing too fancy. So I will be showing you guys how I color correct. Now, as you can tell, I don't have a lot of darkness, so I don't really have a lot to cover, but I do have a little bit of areas right here that are discolored or they're getting a little bit darker. So I want to brighten this up. And then I've got some redness from my pimples that are coming and going, so I'm going to be using it on that to cover that up, and then I'm going to reapply the Fenty skin tint. So it's going to kind of be a similar video like my last video, but I'm going to be talking more about what I'm doing with the color corrector. So let's get started. So as you know, I always like to begin by moisturizing my face. So I'm going to go in with my Dove moisturizer. And I'm just gonna give my moisturizer a second to set into my skin. Now, in my last video, I forgot to apply primer before I put on the skin tint. I'm gonna make sure I put on primer today. I'm just gonna add a little bit more moisturizer around here because I get dry here, and when I get dry it tends to get dull and like flaky and grayish. And I know my eyebrows look a little funky and today that's because I'm trying to grow them out a little bit so I can do like an eyebrow tutorial. A couple of people have asked me how I maintain my eyebrows, so I'm gonna do that. Now I normally do get them threaded, but because of COVID and my schedule, I haven't really been keeping up with my appointments, so I just try to keep up with them myself. So I'm going to be doing a video on that if you're interested in the future. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. And I feel like my moisturizer is set into my skin. So now I'm going to go in with my primer. So I think I'm going to use my Milk Hydro Primer since I will be wearing my makeup for a while. Okay, so I feel like that is pretty set. Now I'm gonna go in with my NYX color correcting palette. Now basically I want to color correct a little bit or brighten under my eyes. So now I'm going to just take a look and see my eyes. So they're a little bit discolored and there's a little bit of darkness going on around here. So I feel like under here my eyes look a bit purplish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yellow, because when you're color correcting, you want to take the opposite of the color that you're trying to correct. So this is a perfect example. So since this stuff right here is red, I want to cancel that out. Now the color that cancels out red is green, because that's opposite on the color wheel. Like I said, there's like a whole science behind this, and I do plan on making a more in-depth video explaining exactly like the color wheel and like all of that good stuff, and like how you should be color correcting, because technically this isn't the palette that you want to be using, but obviously not everybody is a makeup artist or has access to like the makeup artist palettes. So that's why I'm using this one, because everybody has access to it and it's pretty basic and pretty standard. So one of these video days I will be filming like a more in-depth video, but for beginners you always want to use a color that is opposite of the color that you're trying to cancel. So for red it would be green, for purple it would be yellow, and for anything bluish it would be like this peachy color or this orange. Now a little goes a long way, so you don't need to be packing on your brush with a bunch of product and putting it all over the place, because you're trying to correct color. You're not really, this isn't your foundation, because once you start applying a lot of the color correcting colors, then it's like you're kind of defeating the purpose, because your foundation is to cover the darkness or the blemishes that you have, and now you're gonna have to work twice as hard trying to cover up all this extra product that you've got. Like I said, a little goes a long way, so you don't need to be doing a bunch of stuff all over here and all here. Now if you have discoloration there, that's a different story, but I've seen a lot of videos where people just go crazy and like they add all these lines and stuff to their face, and that's not really necessary. Don't let videos like that scare you away from doing your makeup, because it shouldn't be that hard, you know? So let's get started with this. I feel like I talk a lot and I get off on a tangent, but it's just because I like to explain some stuff. So I'm going to go in with this yellow, and I'm going to concentrate it mainly in these areas that are really dark, and then I'm just going to blend the rest of the product out, because this is where I have most of my discoloration, and that's the tones that I'm trying to cancel out. So I'm just taking this concealer brush. I got this in my Ipsy bag, so I don't really know what brand this is. I can't really read that, but this is a concealer brush, and it basically just looks like this. So you're just going to, well, I'm going to dip enough into the product, and this looks like it's going to be enough for both eyes. So I'm going to grab a mirror. It's always best to grab a little handheld mirror, and you want to look up so your eyes are looking up and you can see what you're doing. So I'm going to concentrate the product in here. And that's about it. And now you can wipe off the extra product that you have, and you can either use your brush or you can use your fingers. So I want to try to use my fingers, because I feel like using your fingers, it helps melt the product in a lot more seamlessly than using like brushes and even beauty sponges sometimes. So like in these like sensitive areas, I want to start using my fingers. So that's what I'm going to do, and as you can tell, it's like really melting that product. So now I'm just going to go ahead and drag my product, or not drag, but like bring the product in and under the eyes, so all throughout. And then I'm just going to do the same thing with this other side. So I'm going to take my ring finger because I am working with the eye area and this is a very delicate area. So the ring finger is the finger that applies the least amount of pressure, and you just want to drag that out. So it kind of brightened this area just a little bit. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to take some more color corrector, and then I'm going to cover up some of this redness that I've got going. So I just wiped off my brush completely, and now I'm going to go in with the green. And again, I'm going to repeat the same process. I'm going to take some product and I'm just going to dab it lightly on these little pimples that I have, because less is more. And then I'm just gonna wipe off my brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this brush just to go ahead and blend all this out and just really sheer it up. And I feel like that's good enough. I don't want to blend it out all the way because that's what the foundation is going to help with. But I did want to blend it out enough so it could be a very like subtle or a very like thinned out surface. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my NYX concealer. And I'm just going to concentrate my concealer in this area. And then just slide it up here so it can give me a very lifted look. So with the same concealer brush, I'm going in and I'm just going to blend out this concealer. And then I'm just gonna finish that off with my fingers. And as you can tell, like now that I've color corrected underneath, it's kind of canceled out that darkness that I had. Basically what I'm trying to say is sometimes it can be an important step to color correct before you put on your concealer, especially if you've got a lot of darkness and you have a lighter concealer shade, because it will just create like a mask type thing, so you'll still have that darkness peeking through. So now I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Eaze Drop Skin Tint, and you really gotta shake it. So I feel like that's enough. And today I'm gonna try this again, and I'm just going to apply this like I would a moisturizer. So I've applied a generous amount, and now I'm just going to do it exactly how Rihanna did in the video. It does feel really nice and airy, just like how they advertise it. And do you see how it just covered up all that redness? And then especially when I applied the foundation, it covered up some of that darkness that I have. So that's what color correcting does. It just cancels out those unwanted shades. So I know this isn't really a Fenty beauty foundation video, but I cannot get enough of this foundation. I absolutely love this foundation. So now I'm just going to take my Tarte Airbrush Finish brush, and I'm just going to pat this in. So now I'm just gonna go in and finish the rest of my makeup. Now, the most important thing for the under eye area is to set it with some setting powder. So I'm just going to take my Ciate London translucent powder and I'm going to pour some in the cap. And I'm just taking this highlight brush and I'm dipping it into the setting powder, and now I'm going to push it in under my eyes to really set the concealer. And this is going to help from creasing. So as you can tell, like it's really starting to crease. So I'm just gonna like make sure like I'm gonna gently pull on my skin under my eyes so I can get as much product in as I can. And then I'm just going to wipe the powder off. And now I just want to set my foundation with this Milani powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this big brush again and lightly swirl it into my Milani powder. Oh, that's a lot of product. And I'm just going to push this into the foundation. And this is to just help lock it in place. So now I'm just going to take my MAC Pro Long Paint Pot and I'm just going to go ahead and prime my eyelids for some light eyeshadow. I'm just going to grab this yellow blending brush as usual, and today I'm going to be using this Violet Voss palette, and I got this again in my Ipsy bag. I get a lot of stuff from my Ipsy bag, and it's got these really pretty shades. So I'm just going to dip into a couple of these brown shades and just sweep them across my lid. So I'm starting off with the shade Teddy, and I'm just getting a generous amount on my brush. And then I'm just going to sweep this into the outer crease. So now I'm just going to take a clean blending brush. So I feel like that looks blended out enough. And then I just want to take the same brush and just dip into Champagne. And then just sweep this all across my lid. I feel like that's enough. And I want to add some color back into my face because I feel like the blend or the color correcting and the concealing, that kind of took away from my color that I have. So I'm just gonna take this super old contour palette from Ulta that I got a very long time ago, and I'm just gonna take this shade and I'm just gonna start contouring. And I feel like I like that just for the bronzer, and then I'm just gonna go in with my signature blush. And I'm really obsessed with this brush lately for applying blush, so I'm gonna use this brush. And again, this is a flat powder brush, and it's, I think, from the brand La Rousse. And I'm going to take my Tarte Amazonian Clay blush and dip my brush into it, tap off the extra. So I'm obsessed with this Makeup Geek highlights. This one is in the shade Nightlight. So if anyone was wondering, it's from Makeup Geek and in the shade Nightlight. I feel like I've been laying on the beach this whole time and like I've really bronzed up and highlighted. That's what I look like in person. This is gonna be so fun. And now I'm going to do my eyebrows, put on some liner, and I'm actually going to wear my lashes, my new style lashes. I haven't put a label on these yet, so I don't know which ones, but I will link them down in the description below. But I think these are going to be so pretty. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some liner to my waterline. And I'm going to gently curl my lashes. And this is just my Better Than Sex mascara. I don't know what happened to it. Some nail polish like leaked on it, I guess. I don't know. And I'm going to again look up and I'm just going to apply some mascara to my lower lash line. I don't like applying mascara to my false lashes because I feel like it kind of messes them up. So now that I have mascara on my lower lash line, I always like to comb it out because I don't really like the clumpy spidery look that sometimes happens. So I just like to take my eyebrow comb or my spoolie and just comb out these lashes. And I like to separate them. Let that dry. And I'm just going to wipe this eyebrow brush and I'm going to fill in my brows. Now, last but not least is my lips. So as usual, I always use my Sparkling Rose lip scrub. So I'm using my ColourPop lip liner and this is in the shade Beeper. So this is literally how I always apply lipstick or any lip product. I always line my lips. I exfoliate, line, and fill in. So just like this. To top this off, normally this is how I would just wear it, but today I feel like wearing this lippy lingerie by Tarte. This is in the shade Envy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and dab this onto my bottom lip and then just do this to my top lip. And actually, last but not least, I'm going to set my makeup because we're going out. And that is my full face. And again, for the foundation, if you got lost in all this, I used my Fenty Skin Tint. So I will be back in a few hours after my night out, and I will update you guys again just to see how true this Fenty foundation or this Fenty Skin Tint holds, because so far I love it. So we're gonna find out tonight if I really love it. Hey guys, so here's what my foundation looked like at the end of the night. As you can see, it held up pretty nicely. So if you're borderline deciding on getting the Fenty foundation, I highly recommend it. And that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you on the next one.